I only have one photo of my first multi-day hike. The year was 1994 and I was 14 years old. This is it. A young ginger kid with a big smile. It was the first outdoor education program I'd been on outside of regular school camps. We ate good food, washed each other's dishes, and from what I remember, had a great time. I didn't know it then, but if I was to have an image in my head that represents an experience that would lead to nearly everything I've done since, this would be it. Where are you, Beau? I'm at the gates of Wollangarra, kind of at the edge of the deep mountains in Australia. Out there in front of me is just where I want to be. And I didn't know that until I came here 28 years ago. I guess you could say I'm at the gate of a place that created my worldview. It's why I give a damn about healthy rivers, the shade of a gum tree, people being good to you, cooking your own food, hard work. This is where it all kind of started. And I did 3 programs at this outdoor education centre. And I reckon it made me Beau. Anyway, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to see the place for the first time in almost 3 decades and just reminisce. G'day, Beau. Welcome back to Wollangarra. Give a big old cooey when you get here, Beau. Cooey! We hope that after all the years the place still feels like home and an adventure at the same time. Bloody oath. I've kind of got goosebumps. Well, not kinda, I do. How are you, mate? Oh,
hello, Beau.
Hello, mate. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you.
All right, I'm in safe hands with Smitho and Mad Dog, the blue healer.
Okay, off we go.
There we go. I think we all suspect that worldview comes from every day of your life in combination and all those experiences. But where are the moments where you thought, oh, here's a big bloody fork in the road? There's a powerful day of inspiration or a day of tragedy or something that is going to change your course. Wollangarra is an Aboriginal word said to mean high places for young people. It opened a few years before I came here as an outdoor education centre focusing on practical farm-based skills and spending time in the bush. It was created to show young people what an intentional community feels like. It's super simple, often hard, but always positive, led by patient people with big engines and big smiles. I actually think it's one of the finest examples of outdoor education in the world, and I was lucky enough to come here.
We hope it's a running joke.
Absolutely not.
See? They've got a lot of stuff laying around. They're going to use this stuff. This is the resource yard. Even's got a bloody sign. See, going for a shower at a place like this is an event, because water is a big fat resource. This is where I started to only have 1 or 2 showers a week. I'm convinced of it. No one was going near me as a 14-year-old boy anyway. May as well save the world. Shower less. So I think it's kind of nice that I've found myself back here where I was still very much a boy when I was here last. The key noises you hear are the river and the wind and birds. Bloody cockies and kookaburras. currawongs. There was a currawong. And a fly. The Aussie fly, mate. Everything in this building has purpose. And it's all earned its space. It's bloody brilliant. You know, it's kind of a refinement of life. When you run a camp like this or a place like this where you have a constant flow of new people, your systems have to be dialed. Because you've got to repeat that with a new batch of people the next week. Has to be teachable, repeatable, functional, practical, easy to learn, easy to get. Now that sounds pretty obvious, but that sense of refinement, that takes bloody years, and it takes really good people to come up with those systems. I grew up in a place where hard work was normal. Mum and Dad worked their asses off, sweating over bales of hay or shovels. Mum used to walk me to town 14 kilometres away. If my parents gave me anything, they gave me work ethic. Dad didn't actually want me to come to Wollangarra, knowing I could split wood and fix fences at home instead. But Mum recognised the need to do this kind of thing elsewhere with others. She sent my sisters as well. You know what Wollangarra advocated? Although, to be honest, I'm not sure it was ever said or talked about. But at all times, it was about using your body. Use it to make stuff and fix things. Make it work by using what's close to hand or thrown out by others. It was physicality that was practical, and it made absolute sense to me. I kind of knew this from Mum and Dad and life on the farm, but these folks made it a thing. Have a cuppa or a slug of water, a handful of scroggin, and go again. And I loved it.
Beautiful.
You're busy with good life, because good life is busy. You know, making all that firewood and sharpening chainsaws and making sure the sheep are healthy and that your fencing's good so that the sheep don't get caught in them. I mean, all these things, everything around me is a huge amount of work. These places require a huge amount of work. The thing is, though, it's bloody good work. It's good work. You know, it's the little things, the door handles and the clasps and the fence fittings and the handmade nature of things. I didn't really notice as much then as I do now, but that's what makes this place special. They still make a latch on a fence out of timber. The tents that I used, they're still using them. Canvas tents. And you know, 29 years ago, here I am packing for this 10-day hike in this very building, in the breezeway down there, getting my stuff ready. And I was on the verge of creating something in me that is now me. Well said, Rooster. That 10-day hike was across the famous Australian Alps walking track. Terrain that is hands down some of the most dramatic in the country. Off we set, a bunch of teenagers led by Joey and Jimmy. What I thought then, and I remember thinking this clearly, was, wow, this is a job? Jimmy and Joey are doing this as a job? I reckon I'd like to do that.
Well, it's been 12 years. I can't believe it. I've never been here in the winter. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here after so long. It is so cold, so good. It's bloody brilliant. I've walked up and down and run this lane hundreds of times. I've got 2 homes in the world. One is in Australia and the other is here. Wow. I built that roof. The son's owner of this camp's frisbee hit me in the foot when I was travelling in Asia. We got talking, I think we had a few beers. A few days later he gives me the card to a camp in North America, in Vermont. I didn't even know where Vermont was. And I came, and I reckon within the first week of being here I thought, you know what, this place is pretty special. And I kept coming back.
Camp Sangamon started from this old farmhouse in Vermont during the summer of 1922. Founders Leon and Eleanor Smith thought that urban life in America was taking over and that farming skills, conservation and outdoor life were being eroded. Over the next 100 years it would become a place where fathers and sons would go, staying in the same cabins their grandfather had slept in.
I spent my first 4 years living in here. Canvas bunks, wooden shutters, the doors open most of the time.
I started out at Sangamon as the kayaking and hiking guy, which over time turned into cabin fixer. Before and after summer, I'd repair snowfallen or sunken cabins, which are dotted throughout the forest. And I tell you, I fell in love with the place. And this undercurrent of Sangamon that embraced creativity and freedom of thinking through choice. The unbridled ability to make your own path. It's not going anywhere.
I had some of the funnest times of my life here. In fact, it kind of pisses me off. I'll never have as much fun as probably what I had here. I painted this house pink one night. Took us all night, me and about 6 or 7 others. They're young apprentices. We painted it pink. Then blamed it on the girls' camp next door. I watched the owner walk down the hill from his cabin, turned around, put on a Hawaiian shirt and came back for breakfast. And I thought, Mike, you are a legend. What I found out over the years is this place becomes a home for misfits, staff and kids. If you don't quite fit in a regular school, or things aren't quite right at home, or you're not quite sure what to do with your life, you're a 25-year-old and you're swinging, you're not quite sure which way to go. Staff and kids found themselves at Camp Sangamon, where they were appreciated. They got to do what they like. They learnt cool stuff. They found their people.
Nice rounded tops.
I never thought I'd be sentimental, but I think I'm becoming sentimental. If I wasn't filming, I'd probably sit here and have a good old cry that I'm no longer the young dude that was here and inventing his life, you know? I built this twice, actually. I put in every one of these screws. I can see every one of these screws. That's me in another life. It's so amazing to sit in a place that is usually, in my mind, for 10 years, this was so busy. This is like Main Street. Sports balls spread throughout the place, frisbees up in trees. It's just a hive of activity. It has life. And now it has the soft patter of snow. It's kind of fitting that I've come here to reflect on my worldview, because I'm in a different phase of life and I'm seeing it in such different light. If Wollangarra made me aware of my body as an engine and a mind for thinking,
Sangamon gave me a home among people who thrive by learning a new set of skills that were actually old. And in such a setting, folks tended to find themselves, which is kind of like taking care of yourself for the first time. The upshot of this is that you actually stop thinking about yourself and you take on the bigger picture. With so much outdoor life day to day, Sangamon and Wollangarra reinforce that healthy humanity is completely dependent on a healthy environment.
I mean, think of the potential of one experience in your life and the trajectory that can take you on. Think of all the stuff I've done in the world and how lucky that is. But in many respects, the values of this place then dictated all the decisions I made. I went and worked in a summer camp for 10 years. The bloody summer camp looks like this joint. My house looks like this place. Even the roofing iron here. I've got the same red on my roof with the same pitched roof. I always kind of knew I liked these things, but this is where it came from. As I wander around here, I think, you know what, this is the kind of place I'd want to live. And in many respects, that's the kind of place I've built. You know, you get to a place like this, or you come back to it rather, and you think, I have enough. You know, I have enough. So I'm running with Smitho, and we're on Wollangarra people-built track, right up the side of the McAllister. Bloody amazing. I reckon I've been too busy to reflect on how good my life has been.
Janet!
Yes!
There's the bottle of wine done. And yet, typically, us midlife people, you get to your mid-40s and think, gee, what really makes my life really good, or what bogs it down, or what am I not seeing? Just peel back a few layers and figure out, why is it that you are where you're at? Why am I a 44-year-old bloke with this particular set of morals and instincts and desires? Where the hell did my worldview come from? When you identify where your worldview came from, go visit it. It's taken me 29 years.